Carbondale, Illinois. Good afternoon, everybody. I'm Mitch Holtis, and welcome to a Sunday in the Valley. Now, it's early in a grueling 18-game conference schedule, but by the middle of January, we start to find out more about the teams in the league. The other 8 teams in the Valley, Charlie Spoonhour, they want to know more about these 2 teams.
No question about that. SIU's at home. They need to win. But for Illinois State, this could be a signature ball game for them if they can go on the road, get their record to 3-1.
One of the better players in the league is Illinois State's Tyrese Bryson.
Bryson's a great luxury for any coach. You can pencil in 20 points a night. That's great. Plus, he helps you on the defensive end. Very good.
Now, on the other side, your thoughts on SIU's Kent Williams.
Williams is his counterpart from the Salukis. Last year, he was more a standing shooter. This year, Williams has been very, very good at putting the ball on the floor, getting to the basket, getting to the free throw line. He has to have a big ball game.
Now, Illinois State might be one of the more improved teams in the league as you look at Kent Williams. Take a look at Sean Jepson, one of the most improved players on the Redbirds. Great shooter and defender. So much as the mid-state Illinois State Redbirds have come downstate to meet the Salukis. A lot of fans watching in Chicago today, you'll know all about the head coach at Illinois State. It's Tom Richardson in his second season as the head coach of the Illinois State Redbirds. There he is. Tom was a longtime coach at Nazareth Academy in the Chicagoland area. Played high school ball at Marist and was a longtime assistant at ISU. His lineup now, he has had 8 different starting lineups in the 12 previous games. Here's his front line. Shedrick Ford on the left of your screen has really had a nice season. And a young player, Dirk Williams from Pekin, Illinois, has given good minutes. Byers is a transfer from Illinois. Now, on the other side, Tyrese Bryson, one of the better players in the Midwest. And the point guard is Randy Rice, a junior college transfer. Sitting on the other table is Bruce Weber, 18 years as an assistant to Gene Katie at Purdue University, his 3rd year at SIU, and has put some enthusiasm back into the SIU program. Different today. Abel Schroeder will start. Jermaine Durbin's in the middle, a good athlete. And he's also going to start Tyrese Booya, junior college transfer from Savannah, Georgia. And in the backcourt, we mentioned Kent Williams as a scorer. He will start at the point guard, Marcus Belcher, the brother of Cookie Belcher, who plays at Nebraska. Belcher is playing because of a foot injury to Brandon Mills, and that will be interesting to watch, Charlie Spoonhour, as Marcus Belcher has to handle the point guard role in place of Mills. Mills is expected to play some today.
Well, he got some quality minutes early in the year and started some ball games. So it's not as though this is something brand new for him, but this is Bowie's first start. I would imagine for him the butterflies will be fairly pronounced.
Now, we mentioned the importance of this game early. For Bruce Weber's team, they had a great start to the year. They beat St. Louis U. They were scoring points at will. Then they went to Hawaii, and things kind of got off track a little bit. They lost here at home to Bradley, and Bruce Weber's trying to recapture his magic.
There's no question about that. They were in the 80s with everything, over 101 ball game, and now for about the last 6 or 7 ball games, it's been in the 60s. And so now you try to bring Cross off the bench. And also the thing that's been lacking a little bit, Mitch, I think, is maybe just the overall energy that the ball club had early in the year. They've got to recapture it, and here we go.
As you might guess, with an in-state rivalry, it's been around since 1915. SIU has won the last 4 in the series, and that has given them an advantage. Otherwise, this is as even as you can get. 59-55 SIU, but the Redbirds have not beaten the Salukis for 2 years. This is Shedrick Ford. Byers in the middle. Williams, the freshman. SIU playing man-to-man defense. Bryson yet to touch it. Shot clock at 12. The Redbirds being patient. Rice doesn't shoot it much. And the rebound to Dearman.
Nice job by Belcher on that first possession. Kept the basketball away from Bryson.
Schroeder, a blue-collar worker, getting a start here. Williams has a deflection rescued by Bowie.
And Bryson's got a tough match because he's going to have the top scorer for the Salukis.
Dearman missing. Bryson, a great athlete, with the rebound. Illinois State beat conference favorite Creighton not long ago, and one of the reasons was the defense by Tyrese Bryson, not the offense. Ford missing. Williams is stripped. Fresh shot clock to the Birds.
Fresh shot clock, and now you've got a broken floor, and they're going to have to hustle and find new men, and that's didn't work out for the Salukis.
Now, Shedrick Ford Played at Neosho Community College in Kansas. I just get the feeling they're getting more from him than they thought they were going to get.
Well, he's shown early on that he's strong in around the basket, and they say he can shoot the basketball pretty well from 15, 18 feet.
.25 left, just underway here in Illinois State, leading 2-0. We have a call. A foul that will go against Shedrick Ford of the Redbirds. That's his first foul.
And we have our first explanation of the day. First foul, first explanation.
People are wanting to know how good this Redbird team is. Now, they've got a couple road wins. They won at Central Michigan, which is impressive. They played tough against Kansas at Kansas early in the year. This is Schroeder right down the boulevard.
When I saw Southern Illinois win against St. Louis, that is exactly what they did, particularly in the second half of the ball game. Everyone on the team drove the ball at the basket. Very, very aggressive.
Byers with maybe an ill-advised shot. It's out of bounds to SIU. Byers putting up a three. He's only hit 3 all season.
They're going to give him that shot, Mitch, until he shows he can hit it, because they're playing him at the free throw line and trying to support against other people.
I'm not sure Bryson has touched it yet, and he's played 2 minutes.
The only time he touched it was after the scattered floor on the rebound, but he has not received a pass.
Dearman, things spread out for SIU. Williams is a great scorer, and he's fouled, and there's a Bryson foul.
And it's a Bryson foul, and you see where it came. It came from dribble penetration at the basket. And again, this is when SIU is at their best, when they're putting the ball on the floor. Here you see Williams, and this is the thing, the part of his game that's better than it was a year ago. He's able to get the ball to the basket, into the lane, get himself to the free throw line.
Both of these teams will do a lot of subbing, and Illinois State early has gone to a sub. Cedric Knight, a 6'6 freshman from Louisville, who played on the road, played well on the road at SMS, but now just gives up the layup on the inbounds play.
And the foul was given to Shedrick Ford, and that's 2 for him in the first 2 minutes of the ball game.
So not on Bryson, but to Ford, but still a problem for Tom Richardson. Turnaround, powering up his Knight. He's going to get free throws for his effort.
Can't give up the position that close to the basket. He's catching the ball below the block with a man standing dead behind him, and there's no way that Southern can guard him because they're not big enough.
I was going to ask you, a lot of teams in the league watching this game, though, because they really want to know how good Illinois State is, and I think they're better than people think they are.
Well, they played, as you said, you saw their Kansas game. They played well, very competitively at Kansas. The score got away from them a little bit late, but they played well there. You don't get yourself to 10-2 unless you're pretty good.
And the home win against Creighton, a signature win for Tom Richardson's team. Cedric Knight's only 57% at the line, but you saw him hit his first and ties the game on his second. Tied at 4. We played 2.5 minutes. And Southern really spreading the floor, Spoon.
Their spacing's good right now, and I think you're just probably what you're going to see is a lot of dribble penetration.
Schroeder, 15 to shoot. This is Bowie against Knight. Nice deflection by Rice. A breakout for Bryson. And misses the scoop shot.
Missed the shot, but that's scary. When they can get 2-on-1 after rebounds, you're in trouble.
Schroeder can hit this shot. It was set up by Kent Williams.
Dribble penetration to pass, and Schroeder shooting over 40% from 3. He's a senior who can shoot the ball. You have to find him.
16 out of 36 from the half moon. Byers on the turnaround. Touches no iron, and the rebound down to SIU's Bowie. Belcher right to the rack. And Dearman chases it down. And there's a foul on Illinois State.
And you've seen, again, dribble penetration. That's Schroeder that's dribble penetrated, Williams twice, Belcher once, now Dearman. Everyone on the SIU basketball team is going to put the ball on the floor, and you're going to have to get good help defense, and probably your man defense may have to soften just a little because they're showing they're going to dribble it every time.
It looks like a 4-out, 1-in type of look, Spoon, a lot. What do you do defensively with that if you're the help side defender?
Just get in front of somebody. That's how you stop it. You stop dribble penetration unless you're just great one-on-one and can really lock a guy up. You do it by drawing charges and forcing people into compromising positions.
9-4, the Salukis with a good start here against the Redbirds. And Bryson has yet to score, averaging 20 per game. This is Bryson for three. A contested three had Mills right in his face.
Mills just checked in the ball game, and we'll find out if his foot's going to allow him to cover Bryson. That's a tough matchup.
And the Salukis with a turnover that Bruce Weber won't like. Tyrese Bryson can explode. He's had over 40 in 2 games in his career. And usually the SIU fans and Illinois State fans come out in force for that. It's 9-7. Illinois State with the ball, trailing by a bucket. Bryson just hit a three, and he gets hammered by Williams.
There's some tough matchups as they stay man-to-man for both sides. Both teams are going to have hard matchups, and whoever has Bryson is going to be busy. There's no question about that. But the guy that will wear you down, too, is Williams, because he's in constant movement. So if Bryson stays with him on the defensive end, he could tire before this game's over.
Here's a starter in substitute's clothing. That is the guard, Sean Jepson, who is averaging 12 points a game off the bench. But off the bench, Carly, is a little bit of a misleading prepositional phrase with him.
Right, because he gets 30 minutes of ball game, and he's out there just like at the SMS game. He gets 19 points and 6 rebounds in 24 minutes. So he's a starter, as you said.
He also picked up 3 steals in that win over the Bears. This is Williams. Ken has yet to score. Gets it rejected by Byers.
And there's your help. There's the center dropping and helping. Byers dropped and helped. And that's what you have to do on dribble penetration.
Travis Wilson missing a jumper. The former Arizona Wildcat, and SIU has it back. Leading 9-7 at 14:49 left in the half, and Schroeder hits a three.
That's in semi-transition right there, Mitch. And he gets one out of the left corner. He gets one there, and that's just 2 occasions when people did not pick Schroeder up. You must guard him, because if he gets his feet set, he's going to hit 3.
At 15 against Indiana, nice entry underneath, but Byers can't finish. And Schroeder keeps the ball, gets it over to Mills. Both teams playing man defense. Dearman in traffic. He'll get free throws.
Pretty weak foul that time. That was just a foul you don't think a senior's going to get right here. You'll see Byers gives up defensive position, playing behind. They're going to play one-on-one, and they should be able to. And there you see the reach in. Just a very, very silly, soft foul by Byers.
Puts Jermaine Dearman at the line. 53% shooter at the stripe.
I'd hate to be the scorekeeper checking people in and out today. We need a traffic light over there because, man, there's people coming and going.
What you're saying is guys on the second shift are working the first shift.
Yes, they are.
Dearman will get another one. Both of these teams, as we mentioned, trying to kind of additionally define their seasons, also trying to get into a rhythm of substitution patterns and players.
I think Southern's got to be really happy with the way this game started, because they've scored some points, and they've had a lot of aggressive play, just like Schroeder diving on the floor after the ball. That's the sort of thing that you need, particularly for your home crowd.
14-7 Southern Illinois, as Abel Schroeder has 8 points, right at his game scoring average already. There's a look at your front court scoring, and the Salukis dominating that. Andy Strandmark now in for Illinois State. Shedrick Ford ISO'd against Joshua Cross.
They're taking a little bit of a chance here with Ford, because he's got 2, I believe. At least they showed that.
Bryson on the baseline, easy bucket.
That wasn't quick enough, was it? Woo. One step and he was gone.
But SIU's back in a hurry, trying to fast break off the made basket.
If you'll see now, you'll see how Bryson scores. He can shoot threes. Here's just a fake. First step, goodbye. He's around everybody and got the ball in the basket. Then he gets back on the other end and helps out on Schroeder. They're having trouble figuring out who's guarding Schroeder.
14-9, the Salukis with the lead. 13.5 minutes left, first half. Mills, who the Salukis found ready to play collegiate baseball. Convince him to play basketball with it here. Playing with that stress fracture. Entry into Willis. Strandmark's going to be called by Mike Sanzier for the bump.
point of emphasis. We've talked about this on every broadcast, but that's one of them, post play. Once the ball's entered to a post man, and if he puts it on the floor, if you still have your hands resting on his back, automatic foul, same as on any dribbler on the court. Can't have your hands on.
Schroeder, good minutes given, sets down, and Belcher back in, so they'll play Belcher back at the point. Williams losing the ball, but it was deflected. Jerry Petro say it was not a clear possession.
It's his shoe. He lost his shoe. Cross is now gets something there for that. He gets the shoe. We're going to get a timeout.
And Bruce Weber is going to call a timeout so that Kent Williams can check in for a pit stop and change a tire. 14-9. SIU with the advantage, 7 minutes deep into the game. Tomorrow, night at 8 Central on Fox Sports Net. Take a look at the shooting. Illinois State at 33%. Williams has yet to score. Good defense by the Redbirds, and Strandmark gets the rebound.
That's 3 chances for run-out baskets, and none have been finished as of yet. But that's the 3rd try. Obviously, that's something that Illinois State wants to do, is push the ball. The other thing they've tried to do, Mitch, is establish the inside. The first 10 shots, 5 have come from the interior part.
None of the 5 on the floor right now for SIU have scored. Wells was trying. And there's a foul underneath trying to get it back. It's going to go against SIU. Maybe against Joshua Cross. Pushing foul.
Well, as hard as both teams are playing, you would think that there's going to be quite a few fouls today because people are going to be fresh. When you get in, you're going to be frisky, and you're going to want to do something while you're out there.
I want to ask you, we just saw Cross. He was the 6th man of the year last year in the league. We talked about Williams early being the freshman of the year, but usually those awards are complimentary awards. I mean, those aren't MVP awards. Now these two guys are asked to do MVP kind of things.
I think both of them are really, if you think about it, they're scoring all right. Cross is up among the leaders in rebounding, field goal percentage. But now somebody has to step in and do their role. And that's sometimes just as hard as finding someone to be the big scorer.
3 to shoot. Jepson with 2 on the shot clock. Strandmark can't chase it down. Cross does for the Salukis. Salukis by 5. Offensive foul. Belcher ran over Randy Rice of Illinois State.
Good defense by Rice. Rice is from Wabash Valley Community College.
You know something about that skill, don't you? We'll talk about Wabash Valley when we return. 11:50 left in the half. 5.8 here. Well into the first half. Today's Prairie Farms Missouri Valley Conference Scholar Athlete is Illinois State's Rich Byers, a senior from Shelbyville, Illinois. He's worked his way into the starting lineup for the Birds, averaging a 3.1 in business administration. Academics are important in the Missouri Valley Conference. So join us in saluting Illinois State's Rich Byers, today's Prairie Farms Missouri Valley Conference Scholar Athlete. Here's a look at Rich. Birds needing some scoring from someplace. There's a good place to go. Bryson has 5 of their 9. Against Williams. Attacks. Nice pull-up.
Pretty hard to guard that. That's a guy that's a senior that knows what he's doing with the basketball. He feels comfortable that he can create some space with Williams. Williams is going to have a hard time containing him.
Bryson, a splendid athlete. He's gone 40 minutes a couple times in his career, even over 40. He's actually played more minutes than Ironman Dan Muller with his famous for being on the floor all the time. Look out. This is Bryson to the cup. Left is short. He was afraid of charging into Touche Harvey. He was back defending.
Harvey was like Horatio at the bridge there. He was the only one back. And he does a nice job of squaring up. But the ball was probably given up too early. And that's the thing that kills you right there. It allows Harvey to guard 3 people because they gave the ball up much, much too soon.
That's not a good feeling when you're that lone guy back there, is it?
I've been there, but they usually spun me around.
That's Jim Bowie on the bed at the Alamo with all you got tonight. 14-11, Southern Illinois with the lead. 10:52 left to go in the half. Schroeder back in, Dearman back in as Bruce Weber works his bench again. Dearman looks for cutters, moves on Strandmark himself. Jepson. He's got Bryson at the cup. Hard foul cross. And Bryson goes down hard. Real hard. Might have landed on a wrist, Spoon.
That is a hard foul. He made sure he didn't get to the basket, but when you see a guy go down and land on his wrist, all you do is think back to Breakville's injury, and that scares you a little bit. Excuse me, Mitch. That's just, here we are. We're trying to run out. Illinois State has on every occasion.
Now, SIU fans, our Illinois State fans, are going to be a little crabby about that. But I talked with Jim Bain before the game because of the situation with Breakville at SMS, and it involves Southern Illinois. The key, Jim Bain said, as a supervisor of officials in the Valley, is there an attempt to go for the ball. And on that occasion by Cross, I think there was.
Oh, I don't think there's any question. And knowing Josh Cross as well as we both do, he's not intentionally hurting anyone, but he's a smart player. He's been around the block, and he understands when you reach in, you make sure a guy doesn't go up and get a three-point play. And Bryson put himself a little bit at risk by going at the basket hard as he did.
Bryson going to shake that wrist off. It's 1 of 2. He has 8. Averaging 18 a game in his career. The best for a Redbird since 1978. Williams, good look at a 3. Left it long. Bowie, however, with an offensive board.
Williams has to work awfully hard to get shots, Mitch. He's forced to run extremely hard to get to a spot to get an open look.
Bryson, nice hesitation right around Schroeder. Who's going to get this? SIU will keep it. But like any score, with Kent Williams, he doesn't pout. He'll wait for his chance. He could zing you pretty good in a hurry.
He knows he's going to get to take shots, and if he misses a couple, 3, just keep shooting, and eventually it'll come because it always does.
Well, let's give credit to the Redbirds here to D'ing him up. They're aware of his presence.
They've limited his number of touches, and once he gets it, they've really helped on you. They've done an excellent job.
Illinois State can tie with a 2, and Bryson's going to do it right there.
Great cut, but a very alert pass, too. Anytime someone guards as closely as both Williams and Bryson are being guarded, cuts to the basket are going to be there for you if you can get someone to deliver the ball.
Illinois State has 14. They've tied it up at 14, and the last 10 points for the Redbirds belong to Tyrese Bryson. Now the Salukis need a bucket. Schroeder was hot early. There's a steal by Jepson. Numbers for the Redbirds. Bryson.
That's the way you run a break. More under control. And Bruce Weber's going to have to take a timeout there. But that's how you run your break. And Bryson has finally gone to school a little bit. He's had 3 opportunities down here to score and really hasn't done it. So this time, there he is. Floor spacing's good. And then he uses his own ability right here. That's just pretty hard to guard.
Tyrese Bowie was the only man back on the 4-on-1 break. It's worse than Jim Bowie. Now you take a look at Illinois State here and what they've been able to do. And you got to like what Tom Richardson has done. I mean, he had some rocks thrown at him last year because they were in a truly rebuilding season. All of a sudden, he's put this piece here and this piece here, and he's got him back, getting back into the contention mode.
Just thinking about his ball club, you got a senior in Byers that's excellent, that knows his role now. You've got a point guard. And now you don't have to have Jepson and Bryson running the point. You got a guy bringing the ball down, taking that load off and delivering it, and also defending. So things sort of fall in place. And then Bryson, by being also a defender as well, I've been very impressed offensively, surely, but his defense has been really good, too.
Salukis need a bucket. They had a 5-point lead. They've seen that go to a 2-point deficit. Kent Williams with his 19-point average trying to find a look. Schroeder forces one up, doesn't get the roll, tipped out by Illinois State.
Hard possession right there. Still not a really good look at the basket. The defense has been extremely impressive for the Redbirds.
People want to know why it's hard to win in this league. They ought to watch this game because of the defense being played. That's a throw-in, so no backcourt for Dearman. But this team, this league, Charlie, defends. They'll take away your stuff. Everybody in the league will try to defend you.
Everybody knows everyone so well. It makes it very, very hard. Oh, that's a tough call there. Call's correct because you've got a hand check on the dribble. But that wasn't a very, very vicious hand check.
16 fouls in the Redbirds. Cedric Knight called to the foul, and the freshman has picked up his first infraction. I think there's Tom Richardson wanting a clarification on that hand check point of emphasis discussion held back in June sometime.
If I'm Paul Jansen, I wonder, why am I always standing there when they want a clarification? Why me?
And a throwaway now by the Redbirds. And here's a look at, there's Bruce Weber. Now, we've talked about his teams being so good on defense the last 2 years. Charlie, they're last in the league in defense this year. I'm stunned by that statistic.
I think if you would ask me about one thing that I didn't expect, that would be it. And what usually happens when your defense goes south, and being from St. Louis and the Rams, we're experts on defenses leaving you. Usually it's point of emphasis and maybe losing a stopper, losing the one guy who can keep people from taking the ball and doing what they want to.
There's a block, but a foul on Illinois State here. Take a look at the entry to Dearman.
This is sending a little bit of a message here. That block, that's a pretty good block. That's not being blocked by the man guarding him. That means that the guy covering the other interior player comes over and blocks it. That means if you can get it up on the glass, the opportunity to rebound will be there for the Salukis.
Salukis now on the 1-and-1. Dearman has his third point. All three have been at the line. SIU 6-1 here at home. Beat Long Beach State, St. Louis University earlier in the season here. Their only loss at home to Bradley. And that's why they need this game, because after this game, they'll pack up their bags and their school books and head back on the road again.
And Bradley, Mitch, is something of a little bit of a surprise. Last year picked to win it and finished way down. This year not picked to win it, and they're right up towards the top.
And lose two awesome guards. But Jim Molinari has got his club back in the hunt. Wilson underneath against the double team. And a good defensive effort by SIU, and Illinois State is fouling. Frustration on the part of Wilson.
Got Bryson resting. Well, the rest is over. He's back now since we've had a little bit of a drought. But that's what happens. You try to force things, as Wilson did then. Tried to make things happen. Missed the shot as a result of good defense by SIU. Then keeps chasing the ball and fouls 90 feet from the basket.
But when a 90-foot foul occurs in the 1-and-1, you get free throws, and Bowie will get one plus the penalty. Bowie's 86% at the line for the year.
Right in the middle, so.
And you like it when frontline guys can hit free throws. We'll get another one, try to give the Salukis the lead. Kentucky's got an idea on how to do that. 17-16. Both of these teams defending very well. The Salukis lead by a digit.
State's a little bit of a shocker there, but the league's playing according to Hoyle, other than, as you mentioned, Bradley. I mean, that's really good for Jim Molinari's ball.
Take a look at one of the better players in the Midwest.
Here's a baseline drive when he just beats the first step and just gets it in the goal. He can score so many ways. There was the cut, if you recall, when they were denying him the basketball, and here's the break. Now, this was the good move on the break. We had two other chances to get the basketball and get it in the goal for him. But I have been just as impressed with the defensive job he's done, because right now, when you look at Williams, he has had 3 looks at the basket. All have been hurried. 2 of them have been threes. I tell you, they've done a good job defensively on him, but the main thing is it's been Bryson most of the time.
Ken Williams has to leave the Saluki lineup with some blood on his right knee. We're going to give you a shot of Bryson's left wrist. He went down hard when he attacked the basket, and they have taped up his left wrist. Now, Bryson knows about playing with pain, Spoon. Last year he played almost the whole year with a stress fracture.
He's a tough kid, and you know, he's out there right now. He's not letting it bother him.
Well, he's going to get this. There's a scrum right in front of Bruce Weber, who thought his team should get it, and they won't.
You can tell by Bruce's entry pass to the official, he was not happy with the call.
You got to like Bruce Weber. It's almost 2 decades with Gene Cady at Purdue. And when I saw him his first year as head coach here, he acted like he'd been a head coach all his life.
He's done a really, really good job. He stepped in and he made up his mind he was going to change the defensive outlook of the Salukis, and he did that his first couple of years here. Probably this year, early on, had emphasized his offense a great deal and was scoring a lot But as we all know, once you get into conference play and once you show people you can score, then people change the way they're going to defend.
There's a steal. Speaking of defense, Dierman might get a breakout here, and he does it. A little rough on the angle. Illinois State gets it back in the hands of Wilson.
Good transition idea. Didn't get it completed, but the idea was good.
We've got an off-ball foul on Illinois State. That means non-player control. SIU is going to get free throws. Paul Jansen's going to call it against Cedric Knight. That's his second.
Those are the kind of things that kill you. Somebody that just gets down and whacks somebody with an elbow, and there was no position to be gained there. I mean, you're standing 20 feet from the basket waiting on an entry pass, and that's a silly foul.
SIU has scored 5 points at the line, 3 from Dierman and 2 for Bowie. And Bowie's going to go right back there to the line. There's a look at Sean Jepson. Tyrese Bowie. SIU went to the junior college route with Belcher and Bowie, and hoping these guys could get something going.
Wilson's a little frustrated right now. I watched Travis Wilson on his walk to the bench. The fouls that he's gotten, unable to get shots. For a guy that thought he was going to be a big scorer, this has been a little difficult, I'm sure, for him this year so far.
Well, guys who come into this league, Splint, I'm going to tell you, when they come into the league, they get a little surprised at how tough this league is, and particularly how tough it is to get good looks to score. 19-18, now all of a sudden this thing's opened up, and Williams gets the first bucket of the game.
Williams got beat on the cut, and a great pass, and didn't allow it to affect him.
Now a quick shot in. Sean Jepson with the basket.
Everybody's going to rush it. You get better looks if you hurry.
What happened to all that defense we were seeing?
We were talking about defense. Everybody said, I'm going to shoot it quick.
Williams now with the pull-up. Pulled down by Bowie. Nope, taken away by Rice. Jepson. And he gets fouled by Schroeder.
And Schroeder does a great job of holding him, making sure he didn't make the basket, but then holding to avoid any injury.
Southern Illinois leads 21-20.
Rebound, but then the steal, and then the push. I think that Illinois State has decided that one of the ways to avoid playing against that defense is to push the basketball, and they're doing it very, very well.
Sean Jepson at the line, 89%. Last year he led the Valley in free throw shooting as a junior, as a sophomore, I should say. And he's right back there again at 89%. As Touche Harvey comes in. There you see he leads all the reserves in the league in scoring at 12 a game. First non-starter to do that since the mid-90s at Illinois State. There's a man over on that ISU bench that knows all about coming off the bench to score. Chad Altadonna, the assistant coach.
He used to kill us. He used to set back screens. I can still see him setting up and doing that, and then he'd shoot the ball and make it.
Dierman against a double team. Illinois State knocked out by SIU. Take a look at Chad Altadonna. There he is, one of Tom Richardson's assistants. You're saying he hurt you a little bit.
He hurt me. There's no question about that. And then Novacek could shoot it. He's got some guys over there who can talk about shooting now. And the little Bean man can make goals, too.
I saw the Beanster win many games back in the old Big 8. Anthony Bean, another one of his assistants. Tie up. Nope, he got out of there.
You think Bean might have been a little hard for the Bloomfield Wildcats to guard when he was a Bernie Mule?
Yes. Well, Sean Jepson's a little hard to guard right now for SIU. That's 3 for Jepson. His first trifecta of the game. He's got 9. And all of a sudden now Illinois State has opened up a 4-point lead and forced a Saluki turnover.
Jepson, when he shoots the basketball, he's one of those guys, Mitch, that you think he's going to make it. Just like his free throws. Look at the rotation when he catches the ball. Gets some spacing over here, gets himself open, great follow-through, great rotation on the basketball. I mean, when he misses, it's probably something we ought to talk about.
I was going to ask you. It was so tough for either team to score. Everybody's in the half-court grinding, bumping, grinding. Then all of a sudden, it became a hockey game with everybody in the penalty box. It was just flying back and forth, and there's a 3. Shedrick Ford with just his 6th 3-point make of the year. But all of a sudden, now it's back and forth. Speaking of back and forth, Josh Cross scores.
I think it's important that you push the ball, because when you play against a set defense of either one of these ball clubs, you're going to have a little bit of a problem. It's better if you can get something broken, or I guess you could call an easy basket, but there is no such thing.
Bryson spins one up there. Good defense by Kent Williams. Mills Tries to thread a bounce pass in there. Instead, it's going to go into the hands of Bryson.
Ozzie Smith did not caught that bounce pass. Mills is when you throw one that skips like a smooth, flat, slick river rock, very few of them are going to be caught.
And instead, it turns into a bucket for Illinois State. It's the biggest lead of the game for either team, as the Redbirds lead by 7 on the road. Good place to go to try to cut into a lead. Williams gets a basket. They're going to wave off the make and call a foul on Jepson.
When they call these, and Jerry was very adamant, Jerry Petro, that he was right on it. When you know that it's probably right. This is tough right here. Williams is taking the ball and doing what he should. Yeah, fouls much advanced of the shot. Williams is a little stronger. When he was a freshman, he wouldn't have been able to get through that tangle in the jungle there and get it up, but he did this time.
Bruce Weber and his staff have helped him get stronger and tougher. Lynn Mitchum over there on that bench, along with Matt Painter, who's a great player at Purdue. Knows all about tough games. He can tell you all about that. 77% at the line is Kent Williams. Also Rodney Watson over there on that bench on Coach Weber's staff. Williams is set there to shoot these all day long. Last year was a big factor. SIU swept Illinois State. He had 22 in the game in normal. Did Kent Williams. Time to step aside here in Carbondale. The Redbirds have a 5-point lead at 3:53 left. Brought to you by Equal Sweetener. Here it's points off turnovers. Spoon, look at this. 11-0.
Yeah, and really Southern's only had one chance to convert, and they got it down and fed Dearman, as you said, for a bad angle on the shot, and so they've got nothing from it. Ball game like this with the defenses both as stout as they've been, those are big plays. That, free throws, and rebound baskets, and there just haven't been very many rebound baskets.
That cut, nice offside defense. Josh Cross was there with the help.
Good job of getting back. That's why when you get a turnover, there's no basket. They did a great job with Illinois State of getting back.
Duck in the shoulder with Sylvester Willis, and he gets written up for the traffic ticket. That's his first. That's committed with the ball, so it's player control, no free throws. Both teams are in the bonus. Actually, Southern Illinois is in the double bonus.
And Jepson's back doing what he did the other night at Southwest Missouri. He's got 11 points in 9 minutes.
Ford gets it to Rice. There's your man Jepson against Williams. Nice feed into Ford to finish.
I don't know how he got the angle to get that pass through, but he did. Great entry pass.
32-25, Illinois State back up by 7. Williams chased by Tyrese Bryson. Bryson knows Kent Williams' class schedule. Underneath now, Touche Harvey was a little sped up and throws it through the hands of Mills.
I think that the thought was that Harvey was going to shoot the basketball in because he put on a nice move to get himself into the lane, but then made a good pass, but just wasn't expected.
There's your inside points, doubled up for ISU. Jepson, bingo.
That's hard there. He just squared up and nailed that thing.
Right now, Jepson and Bryson have 25 of the 34 points, and the Redbirds have a 9-point lead. And there's your difference in the game, in case you just joined us. Cross, a 3, an air ball attempted by Touche Harvey. It's going to stay with Southern Illinois.
You work that hard to find a good shot and then shoot an air ball, it deflates you a little bit. And now Schroeder's going to come back in, and he was the guy that got Southern going early with his threes.
$12 to shoot here for the Salukis on the inbounds play. Williams thrown off his rhythm, and Bryson not only defending, he's getting down the floor in a hurry when the Redbirds get the ball back. Talk about a complete game. Bryson scores 20 points a game. He's maybe a better defender than an offensive player right now.
I like him defensively. He's very good offensively. And there's the hole when he's dribbling the basketball. He's gotten himself into a little bit of a mess dribbling into the middle of the lane, but strong enough to get out of there with it. But as you said, Mitch, his defense has just been outstanding today.
The Redbirds, as Bruce Weber perplexed. Tom Richardson was telling us that his defense on Ben Walker, he and the Creighton at Redbird Arena.
Another good free throw shooter. We've seen some pretty good free throw shooting today now. Bryson's at 78 and going up. Williams is a great free throw shooter. Jepson's a great free throw shooter.
Bryson had 41 against Central Michigan early this year in the road win, and 17 of those were at the line spoon and 18 attempts.
For the full court press to just to change the action a little bit.
11-point lead for Illinois State.
If you're Southern Illinois right now, you're thinking about getting it under double digits if you can.
Cross. Schroeder was hot early and rolls one in off the glass.
Big basket right there, nearly a turnover, and SIU certainly didn't need a turnover there.
9-point lead for the Redbirds. A lob. This is the reverse, but it's tipped in. Andy Strandmark with the tip in for his first bucket.
That's the first rebound basket I remember that I can recall being made right there.
Now take a look at the second chance points for the Redbirds.
There's the lob play off early offense, the old North Carolina lob, and just staying with it and tipping the thing in. Just good hustle.
38-27. Illinois State, but Dearman will get free throws here. Bruce Weber has really got to be crabby with this because those guys were fighting. These guys were fighting hard early in the game and really defended. But the turnovers have killed the Salukis here in the first half.
Turnovers and the transition baskets have killed them. There's no way you can set your defense unless you get everybody back. And as we've mentioned a couple times, it's been the idea of the buoy, at the Alamo.
Dearman through to look the line, gets another one. All 5 of his points at the foul stripe. They didn't even get active on the board. He's had 5 double-figure rebounding games. Back cut, Bryson, foul on Belcher.
Hard call there because you're going for the basketball and a back cut. Good defensive play, and obviously the young lady behind me agrees that that's a tough foul.
Nevertheless, Belcher gets another foul. Bruce Weber agrees with the fan behind him. Free throw in.
It hurts you defensively because that's a pass into just no man's land, and both people bump together a little bit. That's a tough call.
Tyrese Bryson, great first half, 18 points. He had 40 against Miami of Florida last year. Probably sent Leonard Hamilton to out of the collegiate game with that performance. 40-29.
Now he's in the league where a lot of people can get 40.
Particularly against his team. Schroeder. Long on the 3. Illinois State hustling after it. Williams. Schroeder again for 3.
Good hustle. Cross was right, as you might imagine. Cross was right in the middle of that for SIU.
Tom Richardson is really upset. He calls timeout for a last possession here. And he gets a chance to set up a play because the shot clock is shut off with 24 seconds left. But watch all the hustle here on both ends of the floor.
This is just everybody's after the basketball, and there you see Cross getting in the middle of things. Here's a nice play by Williams and Schroeder. Once he gets his feet set, there's trouble. And that's at least 3 threes for him this half. So now it's back within 8, and you've got a defensive possession. Make a couple of defensive moves here and make sure you don't get any silly fouls. If you're SIU, if you could get out of here down 8 points, you're in really good shape.
The threes you see evened up. All 3 of SIU's threes have come from Abel Schroeder. Jepson, Bryson, and Ford have threes for Illinois State. But now the Redbirds can play the last arrow in the quiver here with 24 seconds left in the half. I got a feeling somewhere Bryson will touch the ball here. Williams is on it.
These guys got to love Rice as a point guard. He's taken one shot.
See the plot. Here's his second shot of the game, and he hits the three. Well, his coach loved that one. If his teammates love him with one shot, his coach loves his second. 43-32, Illinois State leads at halftime. So far this season, when Illinois State leads at half, they are undefeated at 7-0. The Redbirds look like they're for real, leading by 11 at half. The Illinois State Redbirds lead the Southern Illinois Salukis at half, 43-32. Mitch Holt is back with you, along with the coach Charlie Spoonhour. Now, both of these teams were good defensively in the half court. Where did Illinois State get its margin?
Illinois State got it off turnovers and then running out and getting baskets. That's exactly where they got it. And Bryson has stepped up and scored as you knew he would, but Jepson did too. On the other end, only Schroeder has held up his end of the bargain for the Salukis.
Kent Williams is getting hounded by Illinois State.
And it's Bryson. There's your leading scorer, who is also out there chasing defensively. When you get that kind of effort out of your best basketball player, then as a coach, you got to be extremely happy.
Time to announce now our Missouri Valley Conference Player of the Week. And that is Eddie Cage of Bradley. You talk about surprises. The Braves are playing very well. Eddie Cage, you see his points and rebounds at double-double during the week. As Jim Molinari's club is playing extremely well, and Eddie Cage is working on being one of the Valley's top players in 2001. It's an 11-point double-digit lead at halftime for the Redbirds. Back with more after this.
State Farm proudly presents the Just Read program.
State Farm is pleased to participate with the Missouri Valley Conference in helping our young people develop their reading skills. We're especially proud that many of our student athletes are joining us in this effort to help children realize reading is not only fun, but can be the key to their future success. State Farm is committed to improving the education of all our young people. We believe this partnership with the Missouri Valley Conference will help these children discover the joy of a lifetime of reading.
Help! Cried Tim. What did you say, dear?
The Just Read program is a collaborative effort of State Farm Insurance and the Missouri Valley Conference. Started 2 years ago, the community outreach program has student athletes from Valley schools visiting local elementary schools, reading books, and relating the importance of reading to grade school students.
They see us reading out here and reading to them, and as I said earlier, if they want to pick up a book instead of putting it on the TV or say, hey, Andy Stramberg is reading to us, maybe we should read a book or something, and try to motivate them.
Recently, Illinois State athletes paid a visit to Parkside Elementary School in Normal, Illinois.
It's a great thing. I mean, whoever set this up, they really had a good plan in mind.
That'd be fun. We read books every day. That'd be fun.
This year, each Valley institution is scheduling monthly Just Read visits to local schools throughout the school year.
The Just Read program is proudly presented by State Farm and the Missouri Valley Conference.
Bauer had broken his leg in an earlier game, but tournament MVP Dan Miller stood tall. The Redbirds, winners of back-to-back regular season titles, were looking to become only the second team in league history to win consecutive tournament crowns. And for the second straight year, the Birds beat the Bears of Southwest Missouri State in the championship game. Final score, Illinois State winning it 84-74 for today's AT&T Millennium Moment. Skip Schaefbauer and Dan Muller and all those old Redbirds would be proud of their alma mater right now. The Redbirds lead by 11 at halftime on the road here in Carbondale. Let's go to our statistics, a presentation of Pepsi, the joy of cola, the choice of the Missouri Valley Conference.
As you look at them, the field goal percentage gives it away, and a lot of that, though, Mitch, as we were talking, came as a result of turnovers and breaking the ball down the floor. 15 zip points off turnovers, and that's really the difference in the ball game.
And Southern Illinois doing a good job on the half-court defending. But you got to be frustrated if you're Bruce Weber. Things kind of just unraveled on you after a good 10 minutes to start the game.
Had a good 10 minutes. Now, you got to remember, that was Schroeder. A lot of that was his hitting big threes. He ended up with hitting 3 threes that kept the team going. Kent Williams has not been able to get much done simply because Tyrese Bryson has chased him and dogged him, and it's made it hard for him to catch the ball within scoring range. Then he's been forced to catch it and drive it towards the basket, and that's been all that's there for him.
Bryson has 18 points, but his defense has actually been better. 11-point lead for Illinois State at halftime.
He thinks that they really know how to do it, and they did. Dennis Francione surely did. This is a great addition to the staff here, and they're going to enjoy their football. He's going to get things going.
Jerry, a graduate of Southwestern College, the alma mater of Kenny Mossman, assistant athletic director of Illinois State. All right, 2 big players in this game. We're going to show you comparisons. Tyrese Bryson, 18 points in the game. You talked about Tyrese Bryson and Kent Williams at the outset. Right now, there's a wide chasm in the scoring for the 2 guys.
Yeah, and Bryson, give him credit. He's found ways to score by getting himself out on the break. When things were tough for him on the half court, he got himself down the floor and got some baskets that way, got himself started. Kent Williams has had to do everything on the half court, and there you see Bryson starting up with him again. Big possessions here early, because if you're Illinois State, you've got to defend and try to keep the lead where it is.
Cross with a great look in the corner. They've got to get Joshua Cross involved.
He only had 2 shots, 2 attempts on goal in the first half. Very, very smart by Bruce to come out and try to find him and get him open.
9-point lead for Illinois State. This is Jepson, who's starting the second half. So he won't try to trick anybody by coming off the bench. Ford, bad miss, good defense by SIU.
And you see now a little bit of a push by SIU, trying to get it down quick.
Williams, Schroeder's already got 3 threes in the game, and look out. Southern Illinois got the first 5 of the second half.
And when you have a lead, this is exactly what you hate. This is what you can't afford to happen. Had a bad possession, a bad shot the first time. Now, you need to get a look for either Jepson or Bryson.
Belcher on Bryson, they double him. Lee Byers all by himself. 12 to shoot. The Redbirds throw it away. And his crowd starting to get involved against their rival. Nice catch, Cross. Oh, and a break for Illinois State. The Birds have numbers. That's the best bird to shoot it. Byers underneath and gets fouled.
That's killer right there, because you've got Cross down the floor trying to get with an easy transition basket. I say easy. They're not easy because people are trying to stop you, but there's your real turnaround right here. You get a great run out after 2 bad possessions. There's the entry. Cross just misses the shot, and then you have the run out on the other end and the foul.
And it's currently double jeopardy. Cross has picked up his 3rd personal foul on that exchange.
Ooh, hard foul there. Hard foul there, and you see Jepson going down. Not Jepson, excuse me. You see Bryson going down. After he beats his man, we're just going to say, whoa, you are not getting to the basket with this one.
Dearman fouled at his first. To credit Bruce Weber to get his team to come out of the halftime locker room foaming at the mouth.
He had them doing just exactly what he wanted. He got Cross involved the first time. He had 2 good defensive stands. He got a bad shot and a turnover. He's trying to get run-outs going. He gets that. They get it under the basket, but the ball just doesn't get finished.
Bruce Weber unhappy. Did you think that Bryson...
He thought they fouled before Bryson had a chance to shoot. I'm sure that's what it was.
Traveling. There's an open floor turnover that will drive Bruce Weber bonkers.
And the whole thing is, you give credit again. I don't want to belabor the point, but Bryson overplays Williams, doesn't allow him to catch. Williams clears the side, and when he does, ends up with the turnover.
Over a minute and a half deep into the second half. Illinois State's 11-point halftime lead, shaved by 4.
Good double screen then for Jepson, but he fumbled the pass, or he might have had a good 3-point look.
Strand mark against Dearman. Foul on Dearman.
I think he fouled, but when you let a big guy get to the block right here, and you stand and reach in, you're going to get the foul call. No matter if he initiates a little contact, you've got to get your hands back away from it.
Second foul on Dearman. Andy Strandmark will get some free throws.
Now, for Southern Illinois, you're going to say Strandmark shouldn't be able to stick that chicken wing around and hook you, which he does a little bit, but that was ignored.
Illinois State, a good free throw shooting team. Strandmark is now 11 of 13 at the line for the year. Only one real game where they were let down at the line. They had a chance to beat Indiana State at home. They had missed 15 free throws in that game to let the Sycamores off the hook.
And Bryson's missed a couple today, and that's unlike him because he's nearly an 80% shooter.
The only misses they've had at the stripe in this game, those two. He's also had 6 makes there.
This is a little unusual when you see your two best defenders for Illinois State are Bryson and Jepson. They're having a hard job covering the two best scorers for the station.
How about that? Just going to muscle a pass into Cross, who muscles a shot up for a bucket.
Finally figured out that we need to get Cross involved in this game, and I think you worry about everybody else. You better get Cross going because he's the heart and soul of the ball club because he plays so hard.
Bryson with it with his 19 points to the cup. Stepped out of bounds with it. Southern Illinois will get it back.
This was the pass that I didn't see how it got through. I don't know where Cross came from to catch it, but it was a pretty good idea. It was a heck of a play.
Now that's your old two-handed pass over the top of your right ear to shove it in the truck. I don't see that pass much at basketball camp.
No, you don't see that one.
In the air, by the way.
Here's Cross again.
He's involved now.
Oh, man. Steps out, but I tell you what, he's got the right idea. He's going to make some plays, and he's going to make things happen. There was just a great drive to the basket to stick on that.
Watch the replay here. Yep, there it was. Good call.
Feet are too big.
Jepson slipping off a screen. Floats it up there and in there. Sean Jepson is really improved this year.
He's pretty good, and if you're Kent Williams, you got to say, hey, I fought through the screen pretty well. I got myself there in pretty good shape. I can't believe you're going to shoot and make that.
Good high low to Dearman, gets hammered by Byers. They got Dearman ISO'd. And Byers has picked up his third.
Dearman's a little more active this half, too. He's getting ready to trying to get himself involved. Here you see the action right here. We're going to go high-low with the basketball here. There's Schroeder with the basketball just looking in. Dearman's only points, as best I can recall, have come from the foul line so far.
He's very alert, Charlie. No field goals yet for Mr. Dearman. And, you know, there was a lot of off-season talk about Jermaine Dearman. People thinking that if he could elevate his game, he could be dominant on the inside. He's trying to adjust without having a Ricky Collum or on this team last year. They had Tillman inside, which helped him out. And they also had, help me out, the outside shooters. My brain broke. I'll think of it in a minute. Good player. At the line, Dearman trying to get something down here, and does. 48-40, Illinois State has an 8-point lead.
Dearman's points all have come from the line, and he's got a respectable rebound total. He's got 3, but that's it.
John Jepson against Schroeder. This is Cedric Knight. In traffic, Cedric Knight scores. And he's got 4.
I don't know where Cedric Knight was going. We're going to have 2 cameras to get that play because he started one way, circled around, circled the wagons, and went the other. But he was under control all the time and got the ball in the basket.
Illinois State has survived a rush by SIU to go back up by double digits, 50-40.
There's part of Dearman's problem, even though he's going to get a basket out of this. He's trying to make everything happen one-on-one, and he's doing it from out on the floor, Mitch. And granted, he needs to step out on the floor some, but for him to be effective, he's got to be down to the goal.
And now Knight throws it away. A freshman mistake by Cedric Knight. And an 8-point lead as you take a look at Cedric Knight somehow weaving his way through the Saluki defense. Back-to-back wins at the Knapp Center. Willis underneath, missing a dunk. Missing the throwdown, and Schroeder. And there's a foul on SIU trying to get it back. Schroeder's going to get called for the foul.
And he did foul. he's concerned, I think, that he just thought he was going after the basketball, but Schroeder did what a guy that's 6'4" or 5 usually does, pushed. And that gets you some space. He created some space in there.
Artificial creation is what you say. Now, we thought of the guy, and we apologize to Chris Tennell, who's out there watching us, probably cussing us. Couldn't think of his name. Good player here at SIU.
He's probably wondering how I could forget he called you out. He's probably saying, that fat guy can't remember that I used to rebound him to death, shoot him to death. He was really a good basketball player, and he got better each year.
Chris, we're sorry. And there's a traveling violation on Tyrese Bryson. But they have missed those 3 guys this year in the SIU lineup.
Well, after the timeout a minute ago, we had a pretty nice play, but Southern gets the ball on the block to Willis. Missed the dunk. Schroeder missed a follow shot. So you've got to feel pretty good. You've won, if you're Bruce, whoever, you've won the first 5 minutes. You've knocked 3 points off the lead, and you're getting some pretty good looks at the basket. You're running your offense pretty effectively now, and you've got Joshua Cross playing.
Schroeder is trying to keep him in it. So is Cross, and there's a foul on Wilson. It's Cross for the offensive board. Kent Williams, boom. 1 field goal, and that's a 2.
Well, they've got to find a way. Now, Joshua Cross is just so much more active and so much more involved this half. They've got to find a way now to get Williams going also, because you need both those guys playing.
There's Cross underneath. It's the bottom of the rim. And the Redbirds zoom to the other end. Travis Wilson all the way in about a 95-foot dribble.
Travis Wilson didn't get many minutes first half. I think 6 minutes was all he had, and he was in and out of the ball game. Looks like a guy that wants to get himself, at least on the offensive end, more into things.
A minute 90-foot dribble, 95 feet. He'd have to come in from a foot out of bounds. There's Mells for 3. Count it. Brandon Mells, who wasn't expected to play today because of a foot injury, hits a badly needed 3 for SIU.
And that was a good pass by Williams. Williams entered the ball to him, gave him the shot.
Knight against the double team. They had the double team, but no block on it. Jepson spotted up. He was calling for the ball. Wilson found him late. Jepson was spotted up for a 3, and Wilson didn't get in the ball.
No, there was a good possibility for a basket there. And that time, Ford just kept trying to get himself to the ball, to the basket. He was in a good time to pass it.
52-45, Illinois State up by 7. There's Strandmark. Come right back to work for Tom Richardson's team. Turnovers, huge. Points off turnovers have been the difference in the game. Now, there's the turnovers, but points off turnovers, much different.
It was 15-0 at the half. Now it's 19-3. So that's the thing that's really been the difference in the ballgame.
On-ball screen, Williams. Can't get it down. Williams is so uncomfortable with Bryson's defense. When he is getting the look, he's not getting that rhythm jump.
And that time they switched on him, and he's just he's not getting a relaxed look at the basket. That's the whole thing. Everything's just a little bit out of sync.
Timeout, Schroeder to avoid a 5 count. Nope, they've got the 5 count before the timeout. And once again, Bruce Weber perplexed.
This is a little easier to explain. They used to explain to me it's 5. You do understand that, Chuckster. It's 5. 3, 4, 5 and out, you know. But you always have to ask. That's part of the deal.
Illinois State. Wilson with it. Bryson getting a rest here, and the Redbirds with a 7-point lead. Jepson has been hot. We'll keep the revolver in the holster for the time being. This is Rice.
I'm surprised, or not, shouldn't be, I guess, because Jepson's a smart player. But Jepson does not force things. He's got great patience out there. If I could shoot it as well as him, I would have been running around screeching for the ball.
What I like about his game, though, Stone, last year he was thought just to be a shooter. And that might have been unfair, but the guy is doing almost everything this year.
Well, this is a 7-point ball game right here.
Bowie, 5-point lead.
Bowie hits the second big jump shot. He's been very productive after they insert him in the starting lineup. He's done very well.
5-point lead for Illinois State. They led it one time by 13. They get Ford a bucket.
And that's Jepson with another entry fee. That's another assist for Jepson.
Schroeder back in a hurry. Strandmark changed it. And Wilson is over the back of the head of Willis.
Well, they forced a bad shot out of Schroeder. He had to go a little too fast to get open. Good help defense here, but then just a foul on the rebound. Just a simple foul. Nothing to it.
Schroeder will leave. Tyrese Bowie in for Southern Illinois. And Randy Rice now is taking his turn at guarding Williams with Bryson setting down for the moment. Harvey against Jepson. 12-10 left in the game. 7-point lead for Illinois State. Williams slapped out of there by Randy Rice. He's doing a lot of little quiet things to help Illinois State. Wilson had Rice spotted up. Instead, he's going to dribble against everybody. It's out of bounds for Southern Illinois.
Wilson's out of sync right now, Mitch. He's just forcing things, and that's destroying their offense.
7-point lead for the Redbirds. Here's a player.
I watched the ballgame, Mitch, and the thing that was amazing, she had, I think, 8 points until the one little stretch, and then she threw 8 in and just took the ballgame over, and then she got baskets in every imaginable way, and she's a little bit like Bryson. She gets baskets and transitions. She gets them on her own. She gets them when other people throw them to her, and then hits free throws. She's a wonderful player.
Spin, I like the analogy, and I'll give you another one. She's aware of the rest of the game other than just scoring. Here's Williams with the 3.
Side screen, and Williams floated to the corner rather than curling as he has. Bryson tried to head him off. He floated to the corner and gets his first 3 of the game.
Now Southern Illinois is back within 4, and this game all of a sudden is taking a big change, and Harvey is called for a foul.
Here's Williams' first basket coming up, and if you can find Williams down there, they're looking for him. He's coming on the baseline. He's been curling around Dearman. This time he stayed flat in the corner, got a wide open look.
A foul on Touche Harvey of Southern Illinois. This crowd's involved. Ford, Illinois State spreading the floor. Belcher against Bryson. Knight tied up. Saved by Williams. And the freshman missing. Foul 4. Third foul on Cedric Ford of Illinois State.
Pretty good possession both ways. Defense was good. Hustle play here. Nice drive to the basket, but just don't get it completed. But then sticking around and fouling, that's not what you need to do.
Southern's had 20 turnovers. They've been outscored by 16 in points off turnovers. And yet, Spoon, 10:36 left in the game, and the Saluki Dogs are very much involved.
Very much alive, and the crowd's alive right now. Plus, you've got it in your mind now that Williams is going to score a little bit. Cross is taking a little bit of a break, and when you get him back, then you got the two-pronged sword.
The closest since 5 minutes left in the first half are the Salukis within 4, and they have possession.
They're running a 3-out, 2-in. You're just getting screens on the inside by Dearman, and there we get caught. He's moving a little bit too much there, but he and Bowie are just playing the 2 blocks and setting screens and trying to free up Williams. That's the main idea.
Bruce Weber has a migraine right now. He is not happy about that one. Dearman 3 fouls, Schroeder 3 fouls, Cross 3 fouls, Belcher 3 fouls for Southern Illinois. 54-50, Illinois State. Knight against Dearman, great spin. And the freshman Cedric Knight has 6.
Now that was a big-time play. And that's a play that they needed made also.
6-point lead. Williams curling that time. Bowie against Ford. 17 to shoot, steal Jepson. Numbers for the Birds. Bryson scoops it in, and an undercut foul on Southern Illinois. Count the basket for Bryson. He has 21. He'll get a free throw.
That's his first field goal of the second half, and you see how he gets himself started. After the great play here, the ball's just kicked loose. Look at Jepson now. Doesn't throw the ball too soon. Keeps it. Good pass. Tough call. Good play. Bryson lays it in, but now that's his first field goal, and we're at the 9:26 mark. So that's how he got his first basket. So credit Southern's defense this half, keeping him away from things.
Here's your all-time scoring in the Valley of active players in the league. You see where Bryson is on that total. And quickly coming back is one of the great players in Illinois State history. I'll tell you what I like about Jepson, too, as you watch that replay. Seen him fan out on the dribble to get the spacing on the floor.
He's been open a couple times, and his teammates have missed him. That's not something he does.
Williams, one-on-one. Mills hit a three earlier. SIU needed it. Schroeder underneath working. He gets a bucket. He'll get a free throw.
Mitch, I don't know if you caught that, but on the steal, Bryson steals the ball nearly and then gets fouled, gets hit on the arm. Then when he goes back after the ball on the rebound, he's doing it with one hand, right hand only. He's not putting his left hand in there. So he's playing a one-handed basketball game right now.
He had it taped up, his left wrist, which he heard earlier. Now that tape is off. As Schroeder not able to complete the three-point play. Ends up being just a two-point possession for the Salukis.
Knight just got whacked pretty good on that rebound. This is a good place to get whacked. Both teams are serious about this ball game. Both teams playing very well.
Both of them with Illinois on their jersey. You know it's going to be a little bit of rivalry. And then Tyrese Bryson spins in a three. 25 for Tyrese Bryson.
Well, if I'm Mills, I am not going to let him stand and shoot the basketball. I'm going to force him to put it on the floor. Particularly now that he's got a little bit of a problem with his hand, I think I would make him go into traffic where you have to think a little bit.
62-52, 10-point lead again for Illinois State. And it wasn't that long ago, SIU was within 4 and had the ball. Dearman. Rice is there. Calls timeout, falling out of bounds. And saves the day for Illinois State.
I like that, too. You see 3 Illinois State Redbirds run over to help Rice up. That's the mentality of a team that you want. That's probably why Illinois State's winning some games. Plus the fact your little point guard's hustling around, gets a rebound, look at him. Thinks, calls the timeout before he can fall out of bounds, and his teammates are going to run over to help him up.
Spoon, let's look at Bryson's three-pointer here.
See, Mills thinks he's got him guarded. But I'm going to tell you right now, you have to be close enough to him that he can't lift and shoot the basketball. You have got to make him put it on the floor. You cannot let him stand and shoot.
Now, the Redbird fans watching this game, I hope we've made enough of a point of what Randy Rice is meaning to this team. Let's don't forget last year, okay, as you look at Tyrese Bryson. Last year, Spoon, Bryson had to play point guard. They were looking for a point guard. Randy Rice doesn't score much. He scores when he has to, but Randy Rice has made a bigger difference in this team than maybe he's getting credit for.
What have we got here?
I think we got a moving throw in.
We got a moving throw in. We've got the freshman. I was just going to comment, after he made the good offensive play, made a very good defensive play, but he's throwing the ball in and he forgot he couldn't move.
That was a standing throw in. Knight was moving. A turnover back to SIU, but you get to my point on Rice.
Yes, I do. Of course, we should point out that Wabash Valley must have had a couple pretty good guards because they've got one playing at Wichita that's not bad.
Mr. Phillips. And, of course, Wabash Valley now coached by Jay Spooner. Was he still undefeated?
I don't know how he did last night, so I have to hold my breath on that.
Illinois State leads by 10 here. The Birds on the road by double digits. Captain of the nation.
Right. He's on committees that are the basketball committee that is the biggest and best one as far as NCAA basketball. It's just recognition of the great job he's done. And he hires good people to help him.
Yes, he does. Third foul here. See, the foul was called on as a basket for Jermaine Dearman.
You always like that. If you come from the timeout, this time you're Bruce Weber, you come from the timeout, you say, I want to get the ball on the block to Dearman and get him involved down there, and that's exactly what happened.
I was talking with Rodney Watson yesterday, one of the assistants for Bruce Weber. He said, we are great after timeouts. He said, we have petitioned for 20 timeouts a game. He said Bruce Weber's the best timeout coach he's ever seen. They want to do a little football thing and huddle at half court to call their play. And we've seen it today. We've seen him score after timeouts or after halftime on several occasions. Right to the basket is Rice.
Just when you think Rice is never going to shoot again, you relax a little, he kills you. This is exactly what he did at Southwest. He hit a hard three, then he hit a couple free throws, and here he hits a big three at the end of the half, and then he does that.
Holding foul. Now look at Randy Rice.
This is just simply, people have been taking him a little bit for granted. He just takes mells and goes to the basket. That should not happen. But it does when you got a guy that doesn't do things too often. He doesn't overdo it, doesn't overstay his welcome.
Shedrick Ford has picked up his 4th foul. Joshua Cross is at the line.
This is a pretty good lineup that Southern's got right now. This is a good lineup to catch up with.
Cross was huge against Illinois State last year. Spooney had 17 rebounds in the game here at Carbondale.
Now today he started slowly, got nothing done the first half. Rebounding hasn't been as good for him today. He's only got 3. He's got 8 points, but for him, you just expect him to be more involved in, as he was on a couple of occasions this second half.
Randy Rice with it, 23 to shoot, 7-12 left in the game. Jepson with a great look. Then he got squared up, knocks it down, he's got 15.
I really do believe I would try to find him as often as I could because it looks like good things happen every time he's got the ball.
66-56. SIU has tried to get back in this thing on several occasions, and Illinois State has been answered. Bowie, nice swing over to Cross from Schroeder, but a good double team. But it's going to stay with Southern Illinois, a break for the Salukis.
Rich Byers just quietly plays his game. Not much is said about him, but he does the right thing. Sets screens, defends, lets people through screens, knows how to play. I hope we know the shot clock because it's down at 11 right now. Now it's 7.
Williams got double teamed. Byers is over there on the double team, and SIU's got to shoot this quick.
Well, Byers is pretty smart. There was a screen involved there. Byers knew the time that was allowed.
Harvey. High 3 misses. Touche Harvey on the miss. 10-point lead for Illinois State with possession. A transition 3 rattled home by Bryce.
And that is a young man who's dribbling with his head up, and he sees. Not a man that's within 10 feet of him. He finds a man all the way across the court.
69-56, back to a 13-point lead for Illinois State. That ties the biggest lead of the game for the Redbirds. And a scooper missing. Schroeder back for 3. He's getting a little frantic now. Jepson, it's a 2-on-1 with the right 2 with it for the Birds. And a blocking foul called on Kent Williams of Southern Illinois.
Bryson should get paid for mopping the floor today. He's been down on that floor more times than Cyclone Gene Pullman. There's a little late getting there. The right idea by Williams. The right idea just didn't quite get there. The whole thing about it, if you're Southern Illinois, you've had 2 possessions in a row. Now, Schroeder's look was pretty good, but Dearman's one-on-one obviously is not what you need.
Bryson, look at free throws. He has 28 points.
Transition has been, you would have to say, transition has been extremely good today for Illinois State. It's the difference in this basketball.
This Illinois State team, I'm going to tell you why I'm impressed with them. We talk about roles and knowing roles. I get the feeling from this team. They know their roles
pretty well. I'd say the guys like Byers, Rice, and the amazing thing is how Jepson and Bryson don't force things.
Bryson now has 30 points in the game. The third time this series had at least 30 points. Kent Williams has 9, 10 under his average.
Hard shot there for Williams. Good shot. And the Salukis certainly needed that.
Your team, Stringer, always so impressive because of that role that you put people in the correct roles. And those guys play to him. And speaking of roles, Jepson plays this very well.
If his role is to make goals, he's got his down.
But he also guard and pass.
That's he is just very, very, very unselfish.
16-point lead. Speaking of guarding, he guards Williams on a 3. Williams gets it right back. You give him another one, looks good.
You gotta like Williams. Gets the ball knocked loose. People are bumping him all day. He just hangs with it. Just hangs in there and keeps playing. Finds a way to get a basket here. I tell you, if you can get him open looks, he's going to hit it. See, you see him get bumped here. Then we've got a free-for-all, and he steps right out here at 3, knocks the thing down. That's good.
Now I want to watch Sean Jepson here. When he gets squared up like this, look at him squared. That's a clinic by the way he shoots it.
I'm sure, and when they look at that on tape, they're going to say to Schroeder, you can't chase him when you're away from the ball. You can't chase around on that curl move. You've got to come up to the inside. Of course, now, what would Jepson do if you do that? He'll float towards the sideline and do the same thing. You got a hard job. You got to have help from the man who's setting the screen there. That defender has got to help you on Jepson.
Jepson will elevate, too. He's got a little hop to him. There you see his 18-point performance today. 6 over his average. Now, this is coming off the heels of that 19-point game off the bench at SMS.
Mitch, this was a 4-point game not that long ago. And then the turnovers and rush shots have hurt the Salukis. And we've had some big baskets down on this end for Illinois State.
Rice works it. Bryson. 74-61. Williams chasing Bryson.
Now that time, if you're looking, watching the camera, you see then on that curl cross, the senior steps up and helps, takes away the shot. And that's exactly what you've got to have when people are running curls on you.
Third foul on Kent Williams. And Bryson will hit the free throw for his 31st point.
Well, right now, if you're Illinois State with a 14-point lead, you've got to feel pretty good about it. You're under 5 minutes, and you've got a team that can shoot free throws. That means that you're in pretty good shape. Plus the fact, let's give them credit, they're defending very, very well.
Illinois State now back up by 15. There's the 3, Mills. Smokes it home. He's got 6 on 2 3 balls. 12-point lead for Illinois State. 4:17 left in the game. Both teams are in the bonus.
We'll see if we're going to stretch the possessions a little bit. It looks as though Illinois State's going to run some clock before they shoot the thing, before they try to look for a shot.
And of the 5 guys on the floor, we're going to get a fresh seconds to burn off here. Byers is the only guy on the floor right now that's not a good free throw shooter. He's only 50% on the season. The rest of them are all decent.
Anytime you get a kick like this is just money in the bank, because you end up, you've got much more time. Jepson could have shot there, passed it up.
Ford gets fouled by Cross. That's 4 on Cross.
You have to take opportunities to score, and Illinois State will do that. The clock is really your ally right now. Here's what we're talking about on running the clock. On the inbound pass, look at Jepson. And there's a shot for him 2 times, passes it up. Then on ball reversal, you've got it on the block. You've got to take it.
And for those of you watching that like to play this game, an instance where you can get a better shot and a better possession on a good decision there by Jepson. I want to say something here, though, about this Illinois State team, because it's apparent to me what I want to belabor. I'll talk about it when we get back. 77-64. Illinois State is about ready to win another road. 3:54 left. Rawlings' play of the game, Coach.
Well, this is how they scored their points early to get them going. Transition, and Rice does a super job of finding Bryson, who does a great job of running the floor and getting himself to an open area. They've done that very, very well all day. And there's the guy right there that gets the basketball where it belongs.
6 assists, 1 turnover. Why do people discount the role of point guards? It's like having a brand shiny new car and trying to start it without the car keys. If you don't have something to get it going, it ain't going to work.
Well, I just had a Big 12 game the other night, and Texas A&M played without a point guard. It's a terrible feeling. If you know Melvin Watkins, he is now white-headed, and he used to have dark hair.
The coach at A&M used to be at UNC Charlotte against Coach Spooner. There's going to be free throws here for Touche Harvey, but I'm just amazed. If you don't have a point guard, you're dead. And Randy Rice, here's what's impressive now as we look at the stat sheet. Randy Rice, 6 assists, 1 turnover. Sean Jepson, 8 assists, 1 turnover.
You've got guys doing things that they can do. If you look at Rice, if you just watch him one time, probably in junior college, he's not going to be the guy you're going to remember because he's not dunking it or doing anything like that. Dribbles it like you should with your head up. Doesn't make faces. Doesn't do anything crazy. Just handles the ball and gets it where it belongs.
You made a great living with great point guards, Spoon.
And with some that weren't so great, that are friends of ours.
12-point lead for Illinois State, and they've got possession.
If I'd have had Randy Rice with Randy Stang, Stang would have been a lot better player.
Ford. Rebound SIU. The Dogs are not going to exactly quit here. Harvey to the other end. Willis misses a tip.
Good hustle by Willis. He's worked hard when he's been in there. As you can see there, he's trying to get a rebound, and won't you know it bounces over the scoreboard.
How about Bryson guarding, though? We talk about him as a scorer. He's doing everything right now for Illinois State.
I have not seen very many shots he's taken that if I were coaching him or that I would be grouchy about. Maybe 1 forced shot of all day.
Byers will be the mark man here to foul. Unless you're going to get a layup.
I think fouling would have been the answer there.
79-65. The Salukis down 14. 2:30 left to go in the game. Harvey. No call on the bump underneath. That beach is probably going to get a no call.
Jepson, that was one of his few bad defensive assignments.
There's the layup for Mr. Jepson. Sean Jepson now has 20 points. That's a new career high for the junior from Spring Valley, Illinois. 2:07 left to go in the game. 81-65, Illinois State. And Sean Jepson goes to the bench, but that's 20 points with 8 assists.
Well, he shot that one way too close. I'm amazed he didn't back out and nail a 3. He's had a great day, Mitch. All these guys from Illinois State have had really productive days. Just like Byers, we talked about him. Very, very good at what he's supposed to do.
And to me, they look like they're coached.
No question about it. Well, we know that Southern's coached too. It's just they're in one of those little problem areas right now that every team seemingly gets into. Sometimes you fight your way out of it a little quicker, but I can guarantee you that they'll go back to work because that's about the only thing that Bruce Weber knows to do is go back to work.
And he's good. He'll get him back. He's just got to get him out of this funk. 2:04 left to go in the game. 81-65. Illinois State. Williams for 3 gets fouled on a 3-point attempt. Now, we've been bragging up Bryson all day, but that's not what you want to do. Up by 16 with 2 minutes left.
No, that's not the answer. I think he thought, well, I've been doing pretty good. I'm just going to block one now. Sometimes guys get ideas. That's a bad thing. Sometimes guys get ideas.
Let's go back to the outset of the broadcast when you and I were talking about this time of year. You start to define teams, what they're about, what they are, what they aren't. What did you learn today?
Well, I think this team in red is for real. I don't think there's any question about that. I think they've got the main ingredients. They've got perimeter scoring and a guy that takes care of the ball. So their outside's taken care of. They've got a really good banger in Byers. And they run enough people, enough big bodies in there that they can bother. They can afford to take some fouls. And I like Ford. I like Ford better when he's inside the paint area maybe than I do when he's out on the floor dribbling trying to do things.
Bryson beats the pressure. Belcher on him. Ford on the press break. Saved by Jepson.
You've got to like any team that defends, Mitch.
Yep.
Any team that defends as well as Illinois State's defending, at least today, then they've got a chance to beat anybody in our league.
And I like scores that defend. And there's 2 scorers on this Illinois State team that do it because Jepson will defend you and so will Bryson.
Yeah, that I think is something that doesn't come naturally. That's something that guys have to work on and take pride in, and obviously they do.
81-67, Illinois State. 1:30 left to go in the game. Williams has had a tough day. Illinois State's made it tough on him. Let's go to our players of the game. This won't be hard for Illinois State. Tyrese Bryson.
Well, Bryson's had just a great day, although you say it's not hard. You can make a case for 2 or 3 other guys, too. And that's when you've got a good ball club, when you've got a guy like Bryson that can go in and get you points, works hard, and you get a lot of help from your teammates.
32 points for him. Here's Kent Williams. Kent picks up the 15th point, but his teammate gets our award today. That's Abel Schroeder. Tried to keep him in it.
Schroeder really, early in the ball game, was very effective. And every time he can get his feet set, then he's going to be a good player for you. If Williams gets started and Cross gets started, that's going to make Schroeder better each and every game.
Schroeder, new career high for him, 18. His previous 17 at Creighton. Last year's previous high this season was 15 in a road loss at Indiana. 81-69, dozen. A lead of a dozen for Illinois State. 1:19 left in the game. Belcher fouls Bryson.
Good effort still by SIU, and particularly guys like Williams. You know, he's out there. He's been banged around all day. He's hanging in there. He's playing hard right to the end of this.
Illinois State good at both lines. The three-point line, they are 7 of 8. Bryson's been up there at the free throw line 13 times and hit 11.
I'm surprised when he misses one, Mitch. When he shoots one, it looks like it's going to go in.
And you just feel the pain of Bruce Weber. Mills has been injured. That hurt him because he thought that would be the point guard after Collin graduated.
Well, we've made a pretty good point today about point guards. If your point guard's not effective, he doesn't have to be a big scorer. That's not what we're talking about. But if you don't have a guy out there that's getting the basketball to people in an area where they can be productive, it's tough to win.
When I say that I kind of chastise people for not going out and finding good point guards, they're a little bit harder to find these days.
It used to be everywhere. It used to be point guards just all over the place. And there's been a bunch of those shots that haven't gone today, too. Seems like SIU, particularly, remember when it was cut to 4. Got the ball under the basket and stick it up under the goal. Don't get a goal, foul. Well, that's exactly the type day it's been right there for SIU.
1:05 left in the game. 82-69. Bruce Weber's team goes on the road. Joshua Cross, an unhappy senior.
Sometimes going on the road, Mitch, isn't the worst thing that can happen to you. You get away from the pressure of being at home. You get in a little bit of a cocoon with your team, bond up a little bit, and you just set your jaw and say, hey, we're going to start winning some games. Sometimes it happens.
And on the other side, Tom Richardson disproving his critics that he was only a good high school coach. He's got a pretty good team, and he's really coached these Redbirds up. 84-69, a minute left in the game. Harden is from the 3. Bryson gets to shoot more free throws and add to his 33-point total. And this Illinois State team, you see them all smiling. Evidently, they must get along and have a little fun playing the game. Schroeder just fouled out.
When you're winning, usually you do. Not always, but when you win, usually you do. And when you lose, it's a very, very difficult life. The only thing that happens that's good about when you lose a ball game, you've got some people to share it with, and that's as silly as that sounds. Sometimes that's pretty good.
Bryson has been over the 40-point mark a couple times in his career. I mentioned 41 against Central Michigan, and last year 40 against Miami of Florida. But his previous high in Valley play, 35. He could tie that if he gets this free throw down. He's got 34 right now.
Glad to see him come out of the ball game here because the type of player he is, taking the ball at the basket, he can fool around and hurt himself. And you don't want to see a guy do that.
Illinois State coming up. They go midweek to Drake, which is proving it's tough in Des Moines. Then they have 2 home games with Evansville and Southwest Missouri State. I think the Redbirds are going to be around a while.
I think the thing that you saw today, too, is great focus by Illinois State. I think they were focused on this ball game. Now, the thing that I'm sure that they're already worrying about on the bench over there is we can't afford to let this slip away. We got a hard game. Don't take a game for granted when you play against Drake, because Drake will get after it.
Looks like they hit 17 threes like they did against Wichita State earlier this week. There's a steal. Harvey just hit a 3 inside of a minute. And a shot shoved up and in.
we've had a flurry of activity here now.
Carney with the bucket for Southern Illinois. Now a steal. Carney's got it back again. Air ball missing there. And Southern Illinois has brought in the pledges from the fraternity house to finish the game.
And Rice is wondering, who am I going to throw this thing to? I'm guarded by everybody. Now he's going to get his reward. He's going to get to shoot a free throw.
30 seconds left to go in the game. As David Carney fouling, and it'll be free throws for Illinois State.
Well, this is a hard time of the ball game for both teams. You got guys that are wanting to play though. That's the thing about it. You practice hard all week. You want to play in a game. You want to have some fun. And this is your time.
Free throw in by Randy Rice, 6 points for him. He has only averaged, Rice, about 1 turnover per half the whole season. And he doesn't mind the responsibility of running the team.
No, I think his defense is probably, we haven't talked enough about that, but he's been good defensively today. He's a very impressive young man. Doesn't know histrionics. He's just out there playing.
And 7 for 8 from 3. 88-74. Illinois State is going to get another win on the road. They won at Southwest Missouri State. They won at Central Michigan. They played very well at Kansas. They only have 2 losses on the year to the Redbirds. One of those at home to Indiana State, and the other one to Kansas. A great win. Not a good win. A great win for Illinois State on the road. Beware of the Redbirds. They now go 11-2 on the year spoon, 3-1 in the league, with 2 of those 3 league wins on the road.
That's what you're talking about. Anytime you can win a road game, you've got to be extremely happy. Now, if they can have some success at Drake, they're going to have to feel really good about themselves, and they're going to be a problem for everyone.